The Night Agent's upcoming Season 2 can't afford to repeat the mistake that almost killed Reacher. A grave mistake almost killed Reacher, and the Night Agent's upcoming Season 2 must avoid repeating it at all costs. Based on Lee Child's Jack Reacher books, Amazon's Reacher has become one of the most valuable IPs for the streaming platform. Both of its seasons received positive reviews from viewers and critics, and also managed to drive impressive numbers on the streamer. Although the Night Agent has yet to recreate Reacher's success, it seems to be on the right path towards achieving the same. The Night Agent Season 1 presently has 803,200,000 hours of viewing time on Netflix, and boasts 98,200,000 views in total on the streaming giant. If it continues to drive such big numbers in Season 2, it could become one of the most popular action thriller shows on air and even compete with Amazon's Reacher. However, despite having a solid run so far, the Night Agent must tread carefully and avoid repeating one mistake that almost led to Reacher's downfall in Season 2. The Night Agent Season 2 can't be too different from Season 1. After record-breaking success, audiences will expect the Night Agent Season 2 to bring something new to the table since, unlike Season 1, it will follow an original storyline. At the same time, as a follow-up to a successful season, the Night Agent Season 2 will also have to find new ways to further raise the stakes for Peter Sutherland to ensure viewers remain invested in its storyline throughout its runtime. However, even though the Night Agent has the perfect opportunity to explore fresh narratives with its upcoming installments, it should not risk drifting too far from all the elements that made Season 1 work. Even though the Night Agent Season 1 did not receive unanimous critical acclaim, it shattered many viewership records on Netflix and became one of the highest-viewed English-language shows on the streaming platform. Its commercial success highlights that it got many things right when it captured the audience's attention. If it walks too far from Season 1's established formula for success, it could repeat the mistake that made Reacher Season 2 a less compelling installment than its predecessor. Reacher Season 2 struggled to recapture the magic of the first season. Although Jack Reacher teams up with Roscoe and Finley in Reacher Season 1, he never loses his identity as a solitary figure because the two law enforcers never seem as formidable as him. In Reacher Season 2, however, the titular character joins forces with his former team members from the 110th Special Investigation Unit, who are equally skilled and intimidating in their own right. While Reacher still serves as their leader, all of them turn out to be equal contributors to solving the overarching mysteries and overpowering the villains. Reacher Season 2 is still entertaining and rarely leaves a dull moment, explaining why it has an almost perfect Rotten Tomatoes score of 98%. However, when compared with its predecessor, it is hard not to notice how it seems to lack the charm and raw intensity that made Season 1 a unique entry to the crime thriller genre. The second season also took things a little too far with its action scenes by portraying Reacher and his team members as ruthless and invincible heroes. This again did more harm than good because it undermined the story's overarching tension. How the Night Agent Season 2 is already avoiding Reacher Season 2's mistakes. Since the Night Agent has already exhausted its source material's content, its second season will follow an original storyline. Given how the Netflix show's ending is also fairly conclusive, its second season will likely take the anthology route like Reacher and present a standalone story. However, despite taking the same narrative route as Reacher in its upcoming installment, the Night Agent is retaining some crucial elements from Season 1. The Night Agent's upcoming Season 2 holds immense promise, but it also comes with the weight of expectation. After the success of its first season, which captivated audiences with its fast-paced plot, suspenseful twists, and engaging characters, the bar has been set high. Yet, as with any successful show, the stakes are just as high for its next installment. One significant pitfall it must avoid is repeating the mistake that almost derailed Reacher in its own journey, failing to maintain a balance between plot development and character depth. The stakes of success, when a show like The Night Agent makes an impressive debut, it creates an inherent challenge. Viewers expect more of the same thrills, but they also crave novelty. The temptation is often to focus on upping the ante with more action, more twists, and bigger set pieces. While this strategy might work in the short term, it risks sacrificing one of the essential components that keep audiences invested: character development. Reacher, a show based on the popular Jack Reacher novels by Lee Child, fell into this trap with its second season. In an attempt to capitalize on the success of its debut, The show leaned too heavily on its action sequences and plot mechanics, sidelining the character work that made the first season so compelling. The result was a show that, while entertaining, began to feel hollow. The characters, especially Reacher himself, felt less like fully realized people and more like vehicles for the plot. Fans quickly noticed this shift, and while the series survived, it did so with diminished excitement and engagement from its audience. The Night Agent is a show that could easily follow a similar path if not handled with care. Its first season succeeded because of a delicate balance between its intricate political conspiracies and the emotional journeys of its characters. Peter Sutherland, the central figure, wasn't just an action hero or a cog in a government conspiracy. He was a person navigating a morally complex world while struggling with his own identity and sense of duty. This character depth allowed the audience to invest in the stakes of the plot, not just because it was thrilling, but because they cared about Peter and those around him. The pitfall of more is better. One of the key mistakes Reacher made in its sophomore season was the mindset of more is better. More fights, more explosions, and more plot twists seemed to be the mantra, but this approach quickly led to diminishing returns. The novelty of Jack Reacher's brutal efficiency in combat, his larger-than-life persona, and his unyielding sense of justice wore thin without a deeper exploration of who he was beneath the surface. The action became repetitive, and the stakes, rather than feeling higher, felt artificially inflated. The Night Agent must avoid this same trap. It's tempting, particularly in the world of political thrillers, to ratchet up the complexity of the conspiracy at the heart of the narrative. Bigger villains, more shadowy organizations, and increasingly convoluted plots might seem like a way to keep audiences hooked, but without grounding these elements in the personal stakes of the characters, the show risks becoming unrelatable. Audiences can only follow so many layers of conspiracy before it starts to feel like noise, and without characters they care about, the twists and turns lose their emotional impact. In The Night Agent, Peter's personal journey is just as important as the political machinations around him. His evolution from a low-level FBI agent manning a phone to someone embroiled in a vast conspiracy was compelling because it was also a story about trust, loyalty, and finding one's place in a murky, dangerous world. If Season 2 forgets this emotional core in favor of spectacle, it risks alienating the very viewers who became invested in Peter's personal struggles. The need for meaningful character arcs, one of the reasons Reacher began to falter, was its neglect of meaningful character development. Jack Reacher is a fascinating figure, not just because of his physical prowess, but because of the way his solitary lifestyle and moral code shape his worldview. However, in its second season, the show failed to push his character into new territory. He remained static, and the supporting characters, who had the potential to add depth and complexity to the story, were often reduced to plot devices. The Night Agent must ensure that its characters evolve. Peter's journey in Season 1 was largely about stepping into his potential, but Season 2 should challenge him in new ways. How does he cope with the knowledge of the deep-rooted corruption he's uncovered? What does it mean for him personally to be a part of this dangerous world? These are the kinds of questions that can deepen his character and keep audiences invested.